Go ahead and like this video, unless you don't like it, in which case, maybe just keep that to yourself.
Yeah, maybe just leave.
Oh, hello there. You found Driving Miss Disney, the international sensation of a YouTube channel about how to make your Disney love the best Disney love. I'm Logan Johnson, and this is Miss Disney, Sydney Willard.
Yeah, so what are we going to be talking about today?
In today's episode, we're going to be talking a little about how to book your Disneyland vacation. And I know that sounds like a straightforward thing, but in reality, it's not.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to talk about here. There's, where are you going to stay? How are you going to get there? How long are you going to stay? Mm-hmm. When should you go? How do you even get tickets?
So is there a best place to stay?
This isn't sponsored, but yes.
Oh, okay.
We've had some really good experiences with hotels in the past. We went on a trip, just the two of us, when I was engaged and about to get married, and we stayed at the Hilton Anaheim.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, like, if you can afford it, or if they're having a good deal and you want to stay in a hotel, I highly recommend it. It's definitely within walking distance to the park.
Totally. There's a couple of different hotels that are really good.
Yeah.
Disneyland has hotels. The California location especially has hotels that are adjoined to the park. You can stay in the Grand Californian or the Disneyland Hotel, or the third one that the name escapes me. Or is there just two?
I think there's two.
Yeah.
Attached to the park.
Yeah. Two that are attached, and then there's a third one right there nearby.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are much.
But there's
more
lots
expensive.
of affiliate.
Exactly.
To Disneyland too. Say. Yeah.
You can save a lot of money by staying at a hotel that's nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in my opinion, this kind of goes out the window the more people you have.
Yeah.
Right?
When
you start planning a Disneyland vacation that has like 8 people involved, unless you're gonna start like sharing beds and things like that, you're gonna need to be a little bit more budget friendly, or maybe you're filthy rich. In which case, you probably don't need tents.
In that case, book the Grand Californian.
Yeah, for 8 people. Yeah. And just live your best life, and then when you're done, give some money to charity.
Yeah, for real.
No, but getting things like an Airbnb or some equivalent service that lets you rent out somebody's apartment for a week or two is another really good idea. We've done that before, and the one we stayed in had the world's most amazing bathtub, and that was awesome.
That's true. It
had jets.
Yeah, and honestly, if you have driven to Disneyland, the Disneyland area, there's nothing wrong with getting a Airbnb a little bit further away from the park.
Totally.
I mean, you gotta account for parking, which is kind of a
mess.
It's a killer. For sure. I don't like paying for parking.
But if you park at the Toy Story parking lot, the actual act of parking
is not so bad.
The park is a little easier.
Yeah, that's where I would recommend parking is Toy Story parking lot. You can walk or you can shuttle from there. You do still have to pay the parking. Yeah. But that's just to be
you just have to work that in as part of the vacation. So there's a lot of different options. So you said if you're driving to the park. What about driving to the park? How do we feel about that? That you can drive from wherever you live to Disney, or you can fly.
Yeah.
If you're living on the East Coast, I wouldn't want to drive.
I wouldn't want to drive either. That is a really long drive. In fact, if you live much further east than Utah,
Arizona, Utah,
Idaho, all through there. I wouldn't want to drive to the park. It doesn't seem really practical unless you really like to drive for a long period of time and spend 3 days on the road.
The other benefit that you get here, though, is if you have enough adults going with you, this is kind of like the Airbnb thing, right? Throw everybody into a van, and in the end, your gas price will be cheaper than
all of your flights.
Right?
Yeah.
So, well, maybe not in this economy.
Yeah.
But, there's perks to flying, and that's that it's quicker, it's easier. But the perk to driving is if you have a reliable vehicle that can make the trip, you can save a little bit of money, right?
Yeah, and it can actually be quite significant because, for instance, if your kid's over 1, they do have to have a plane ticket. Totally. But they totally ride for free in the trunk of your car.
Whoa. Sheesh.
I'm just kidding. Don't put your kids in the trunk of your car. This is PSA. Do not put your kids in the trunk of a car.
He's going to say you're going to get a lot of comments. But yeah, no, I think like even when we drove on our last trip, we all saved a fair bit of money doing that. And sometimes that's worth it. Sometimes that's not. I think it's a balance of like the attention span of the people in the vehicle. How long can you make that work? How many drivers do you have?
Well, and you know who you're traveling with. You know what you can handle. For instance, when we went last time, we went with my parents. You went, and then my little family went, and my daughter was under 1 at the time, and so she actually flew with my parents because we were like, we are not going, like, that is a long.
Yeah, but we ended up driving back with her.
We did drive back with her.
And she had diaper rash. It was brutal.
She had a lot of apple juice in the park.
She cried the entire drive.
Yeah, it was rough. So
that was also before I had like noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
So bad scene.
So there's pros and cons, right? So she flew with them to California from Utah, and then but we drove together. There were 4 of us in my little car, and it was fine.
Yeah, the drive there was awesome.
It was. There was nothing wrong with it. Yeah, it was rough.
What we did that was really fun. If you're gonna plan a drive, plan like, make sure there are things that everybody likes, right? Like I brought some video games for myself. We brought snacks for everybody. You bought like was it like a back of a door?
Yeah, like a shoe organizer that hangs, like the plastic clear.
Right, yeah, and you hung it between the seats and we filled it with snacks. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I cut it in half, doubled it up so that you could get snacks from whether you're in the front seat or the back seat.
Exactly, yeah. It was.
There's a lot of things you can do to make your road trip fun. It's about a 9-10 hour drive.
For us.
I
wouldn't want to drive much further.
That's the thing, right? You just gotta, your group. If you guys can't handle a 5-hour drive, then you should probably fly.
Yeah.
But everybody's different.
Totally. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about what you do when you get there, right? You get there, you got to your hotel, now you want to go to the park. Well, you can buy your park tickets from the app, right?
Well, you can, at the park, you can walk up to a window and buy your tickets there.
So what do you think? Like, what kind of tickets should people get? They sell, like, single park passes, or they sell park hopper passes, which let you pass between the two. This is for California, not Florida.
Yeah, different system for Florida.
But yeah, you can pass between the two, or you can stay in one. What do you recommend?
Well, for us, as we grew up, we always did the park hopper. So there's California Adventure, and then there's Disneyland. And honestly, I don't think that you should just go to one. I think you have to have both. And it's not that much more to do both. So you can do single day park per day tickets, where basically you buy a 3-day ticket and you can choose with that day, do I want to go to California Adventure today or Disneyland today?
Right.
Now, the reason I don't really love that system is California Adventure, at least right now, is kind of a smaller park. Yeah. But it's got a lot of the big roller coasters that have long lines, right? So you've got a lot of really fun, older,
nostalgic pieces in like Disneyland.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have like in California Adventure, you have a lot of like newer, but flashier, and like for an older audience.
Yeah, and so you might kind of, I don't know, especially with a family, I think like you can definitely spend a full day in California Adventure and Disneyland, but it's nice to be able to hop between and be like, okay, I'm going to do some fast roller coasters and wait in a really long line in California Adventure, and then maybe go to a shorter line.
Totally.
In Disneyland.
Well, and what I think is really valuable too is making sure that your trip has like as little money stress as possible. Yeah. Right. So if you need to cut out and get a little bit of breathing room, that's one reason to do single park tickets. The other big reason is you need to know yourself a little bit. Right? Yeah. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to Disneyland and you're not going to do a 14-hour day in the park, it's probably not the worst thing to have a single park ticket, right? If you're going to be there for 6 to 8 hours one of the days, it's probably not going to kill you to spend that whole time in the one park. Right. So it's about knowing your group, figuring out kind of what people want, things like that. How many days do you recommend people go?
I mean, obviously, again, this comes down to budget, but however,
we've talked about this a lot, and I think we have to settle on a number here.
Yeah.
What do you think the number is?
3.
Okay, I was going to say 4.
I think it's 3.
I still think it's 4.
I think 3 minimum. So every day that when you buy the park tickets, one day is like, say, $150. But then to buy 2 days, it's not $300.
It's like $275.
Yeah, and so every day that you add on is cheaper per day, if that makes sense.
Right. The actual price difference between 4 and 5 days is like not that much. I think it's like another $50 or $60, right? In 3 or 4, it's only like another $80, right? So you really start to trim down on the price overall, which is why I argue 4, because I feel like that's where you start to get the best value proposition.
Without, well, and I think for sure, like if you're talking about, to get the most out of your vacation, I would recommend 4. Mm-hmm. However, in order to like see everything and do everything, I think the minimum is 3.
That's true.
But we're planning our next trip, which is supposed to be in September. We'll see. And we were talking to my parents again because they're gonna come with us, and we wanted to do 4, and my mom was just like, we can't. We're too old to handle 4. Which, by the way, they're not that old.
Like
they're
50.
in their 40s.
My mom hasn't broken 50 yet.
Yeah. So like they're not that old. So for some people, again, like I think they know that we're gonna be doing all day, every day in the park, even with a screaming kid.
It's true.
So my kids don't really scream though.
So here's something we should maybe talk about though. There's a lot of places to get Disneyland tickets.
Yeah.
Right? You can book through Disneyland's app. You can buy them at the park. You can get them on Getaway Today. There are also places that you shouldn't buy Disneyland tickets, right?
No matter how cheap they are.
Especially if they're on the cheaper side.
Yeah, if someone is bootlegging 3-day park hopper Disneyland tickets on Craigslist, they're not going to be legit.
Yeah,
I mean,
Disney doesn't really let you resell them. So
no, it's not okay.
Yeah,
I think it's actually
terms.
in their terms and conditions, like you can't resell their tickets.
Yeah, once you buy a ticket and you've linked it to a person, they're not transferable.
Yeah.
So just like play it safe, even if somebody is like somehow on the up and up and is legitimately selling them, like I know Costco can resell them and you can get a pretty good price at Costco.
Yeah.
But if it's not like a legitimate retailer, if it's like peer to peer, something like Craigslist or things like that, maybe just like it's worth the extra expense for the peace of mind that will come.
Yeah, knowing that you're not going to get to the gate and they're going to be like, yo,
this isn't a real ticket.
Yeah.
Totally.
So in fact, the place that I recommend is Getaway Today. Again, this isn't sponsored by them or anything, but you will get a cheaper ticket if you can, for some possible reason, find a cheaper ticket on a reputable site. Contact Getaway Today, let them know, and they will not only give you that price, but they'll give you, I think, $10 off of whatever the cheapest price you found is. So I like going through Getaway Today. They're really good to work with, and you're guaranteed to get the cheapest price.
See, for me, I just buy them on the app.
Yeah.
I'll just buy them from Disney. Of course, I'm like also the person who like, I'm not going to order a refurbished iPhone on Amazon. Like, that scares me. So,
I'm also the guy who won't use like online coupons. So.
That's true. I'll pay a little extra for the peace of mind when I can. And I think it's worth it.
Well, and when you buy them on the app, they're ready to go. You just show them your phone when you get to the gate.
It's pretty easy.
Where the first day, if you do buy through Getaway Today, they kind of have to do a transfer thing at the gate, and it takes a little bit longer. Yeah. But then after that, it's fine. It's
also
on your app.
Once you have the paper ticket they give you, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we've talked a little bit about like how to go. Let's talk about when you go. Yeah. We said we're going in September, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah. So honestly, any time to go could be the right time to go, depending on your group. For us, low crowds outweigh anything else.
Yeah, sometimes there's like other stuff you can go to. Like in California Adventure, they'll do the Food and Wine Festival,
which is like April.
Yeah, and that's a little bit more crowded, but you get access
March.
to all those vendors and booths. I think it's end of April, end of March,
beginning of April. Yeah, so Food and Wine Festival.
That's a pretty good thing to be there.
I really think that's a fun time. So that's springtime. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. Lots of food, especially if you're a foodie. Yeah. Lots of food. Lots of alcohol if you're into that.
Yeah, they let you drink it in the park now.
Yeah.
Then there's like holidays. They always do fun stuff for holidays. The other thing that can be helpful too is looking for when they're doing special events. Like the last time we went, they were doing the Get Your Ears On thing, which a lot of special foods and special shows that were really cute. And
we went in May last time, which wasn't the worst as far as crowds go, but it wasn't the best. But I think
we got the festival.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. I think the Get Your Ears On stuff outweighed the crowds.
Yeah, it was so good. Like special edition pins, different. They did a grilled cheese sandwich that you got to dip in blackberry jam.
It was so good.
So there's special events are always a good time to go if you're willing to sacrifice the fact that there's going to be more people there, right?
For sure. And keep your eyes out, especially if you like food. Keep your eyes out for those special events. They almost always at the park have some sort of specialty foods going on, no matter what. So just keep your eye out for those events that maybe this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's Mickey's 90th birthday. That will never happen again.
Exactly. But the trick is to use the Disneyland app. right?
Yeah.
Which is Disney's official app. It has like all of the restaurants and all of their menus, and you can use that to see a lot of the seasonal items when they're there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's worth doing too. And then there are crowd calendars online.
Yep.
That you can just Google for Disneyland.
Yeah, if that's what you're trying to avoid is crowds.
That's
and
the
it's hit
easiest
or miss,
way.
honestly. They do their best that they can based on previous years, but like this year, who knows what's going to happen with the
Who could have
crowds.
foreseen that it would be empty 2 weeks ago, right? Like almost completely empty because there was a virus spreading. So, you know, things happen, things change, weather fluctuates, but they do their best to predict, and they can be pretty helpful.
Yeah, they can be really helpful. But you know, I've been at Christmas time. It's fun, in my opinion. Crowds aren't really worth it at Christmas time, but
Right.
it's a totally different experience. It's totally magical, and they do a similar thing for Halloween where the park is. I mean, they transform the park in like 2 days.
Right.
It's ridiculous. So there's lots of cool things that you can look for. The one thing I would say to never go to the park during is summer, unless there's like a special event. And
Everything. There's so many people. Things break. It's so
hot.
It's. I would recommend stay away during summer. Leave that to the people who are really hardcore and really want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
There are people like let's do our best to trim down the crowds there if you can. There are some people like teachers who maybe
Yeah,
it's the
that's
only
the best
realistic
time to go. Yeah.
Totally. But ultimately, those are some of the things that you can do to help make sure your Disneyland vacation is super successful. Do you got anything you want to add?
I think that about wraps up this one. Watch for our other videos in this series about how to have the most magical time.
Absolutely. If there's something we missed, let us know down in the comments. Go ahead and like this video, unless you don't like it, in which case, maybe just keep that to yourself.
Yeah, maybe just leave.
But
the world has enough negativity. We don't need that too.
And then if you like this, want to see the rest of the videos in the series, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, and they'll show up in your feed.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching.
We'll see you guys next time.